Hey everyone, this is Haberdashery, playing some Terraria. This is not a Let's Play. As you can see, I haven't really done any recently. Well, I did the multiplayer one. But anyways, this is going to be a little review of some of the endgame equipment that Terraria has to offer. Obviously, my opinions may differ from yours, so if your opinion differs from mine, we'll screw you. I'm just kidding. Because obviously, like, everything comes down to playstyle. But we're just going to cover a lot of the endgame options here, as far as what's good and, well, what's less good. We're going to start with the perceived, like, major endgame weapons, as far as, like, what's perceived to be the best and everything. We're going to start with the Flail, which is Sun Fury. It's obviously the highest damaging Flail. I believe it's ranked at 40 damage, whereas the Blue Moon's 30, and then I think there's a Ball of Hurt at 15. I think the Harpoon is sort of like... Anyways, whatever. The main thing with Flails is they have this very unique trajectory in how they're swung. So it can be very difficult to use and not always the best thing to use in certain situations. But a common misconception is that it's not good in close quarters. That's not true. If you look carefully, if you aim your cursor kind of down, like below the center of your character, you can do something like, and close to your character, you can do something like this. You can just rapid fire the thing right in front of you, and oftentimes it's going to hit when it hits them and on the way back. So actually, up close, Sun Fury is quite good. It's one of those weapons that you really want to try and mess around with for a while. I do feel it is the single best, like, close range, we'll call it, weapon in the game. I think it does surpass the Muramasa, which some people swear by, and I used to swear by. But having used the Sun Fury for a while and kind of figuring out how it works, in almost every situation I would prefer it. Because just this wide arc here can just hit so much more. And if you know how to manipulate it properly, it's just very, very good. Anyways, we'll go ahead and move on to the Muramasa. The Muramasa is not the highest damage sword. There's actually two swords that do more than it, if I'm not mistaken. One of which we'll cover here. But the big thing is how fast it swings. Note, I do not have any melee boost going on with any of my accessories. But how fast it swings and how much damage it does. The thing about the Muramasa is it just kind of turns you into a buzzsaw. You can just run headlong into enemies and just completely carve them up. A lot of people swear by the Muramasa, and I will say that in some situations it is a little better. It's obviously much easier to block fireballs or magic spells from the Goblin Mages, Dark Casters, or Fire Imps using the Muramasa. It's a lot easier to do it with this than with the Sun Fury. But so I will give it that. But on a pure damage, pure damage potential outlook, the Sun Fury, with its extra damage and its ability to hit both when the ball hits an enemy and when it comes back, I've just in close quarters I see the Sun Fury outperform the Muramasa a lot. And again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm blind or I'm stupid. But and don't get me wrong, the Muramasa is a fantastic weapon, and if it's the only weapon you ever use, I have no qualms with that. As far as like, I'm not going to call you stupid. But the main thing about the Muramasa that I don't like is you can just hold your button down like this, and to me it makes the game very unfun. So I kind of don't use the Muramasa on principle, but also because I do feel the Sun Fury is superior to it. Anyways, we'll go ahead and compare the Muramasa to the Fiery Greatsword, which does do 12 more damage, but and it has a longer reach a little bit, but man, it's just so slow. You have to keep clicking, and it's not bad. It's certainly not bad, but it is not the Muramasa, and it's not even close, in my opinion. We're going to go ahead and go to the Boomerang, the Enchanted Boomerang, which gets upgraded to the Flamerang. Again, like the Flails, this has the ability to hit an enemy, hit enemies both on its way out and back, but it's certainly not as good as the Sun Fury, but it is still a very good ranged weapon, especially when you consider that you can throw it indefinitely. There's no ammo for it whatsoever. So that certainly is a point in its favor. The main thing, though, is that when you throw the Flamerang, it stops and then comes back to you. So you could sort of create like a very similar effect like the Sun Fury does by just throwing it in front of you like this. But its ability to hit multiple enemies, like it'll hit multiple enemies on its way back, but not going out, and that is really a big drawback in my opinion. But it's still a very, very solid weapon, and certainly one that can serve you well in boss fights because of its range. Anyways, pressing onward. The Phoenix Blaster. This might be the best weapon in the game. Because you have extreme range. I'm using Meteor Shot with this, which is crafted. You get 100 Meteor Shot from 1 Meteor Bar. It does very high damage, comparable to the Sun Fury, because it's adding the Phoenix Blaster plus the Meteor Shot damage. So it's very comparable to the Sun Fury per hit. And you can just, I mean, you have extreme range. Now you have to click really fast to get this kind of fire rate, but man, is it just really good. And it just does a lot of damage really fast. It will penetrate some enemies. Actually, no, it won't. It'll penetrate enemies it kills, I believe. But it won't penetrate, like, a single enemy. But, the Phoenix Blaster is very, very good. And easily the best ranged weapon in the game, without a doubt. Now, finishing up with the ranged weapons, we're going to go ahead and I have to go to my chest because I think I forgot Molten Fury. As you can see, I have my little home here. Where did I put that? You know? Did I misplace my Molten Fury? Did I accidentally sell my Molten Fury? That'd be really funny if I sold my Molten Fury. I think I did. I think I totally sold my Molten Fury. Wow. Oh, well, hold on one moment. I have Hellstone bars. Just fucking make one. Okay, there we go. Problem solved. Molten Fury, it's the most powerful bow. And actually, we're going to drop the Jester Arrows here for a moment. The thing with Molten Fury, it does ignite normal arrows into flaming arrows, though it doesn't actually increase the damage. It just turns them graphically into flaming arrows. The damage is solid, but the fire rate just does not compare to, like, a Phoenix Blaster. And it also, I think these are, or wait, no, I still had Unholy Arrows. Hold on. Show you the Jester Arrows. These are Jester Arrows. They kind of fire. The main difference is that Unholy Arrows will penetrate 3 enemies, while Jester Arrows will penetrate all enemies, but of course they have a much more finite range. Again, the damage with Molten Fury is very good, but the fire rate just isn't there, and the fire speed isn't there. Like, what would you rather be firing? That or that? You know, like, it's not a very hard decision. So, so yeah, the Molten Fury is just, the thing is, I wouldn't have been too upset if I couldn't have shown you Molten Fury, because it's really, like, it's really good if it's your first top tier weapon, and it might be, because it is only 25 Hellstone bars to make, but it certainly doesn't stand up to the Phoenix Blaster, or even, in my opinion, the Flamerang, really. Because, again, like, the Phoenix Blaster's best ammo is pretty easily procured, whereas Unholy Arrows take a little more work, and then Jester Arrows actually are quite rare. So, that's just sort of how I feel about bows in general. So, and again, your mileage may vary, and I'm not saying it's a bad weapon, but it pales completely in comparison to a Phoenix Blaster. Now, we're going to go to just some magic things. We have the old Flame Lash, which follows your cursor. Really, really neat. Obviously, it's a stronger version of Magic Missile. The only problem with it is, compared to using the non-magic weapons like Sun Fury or, say, the Phoenix Blaster, like one shot, because like the Flame Lash will often hit things twice. I think it'll hit something twice. It'll be like bop bop before disappearing. But yeah, the Phoenix Blaster just does so, like one Flame Lash shot does a little bit more than one Phoenix Blaster shot. But this is about the fastest you could probably go, and then look at that range. If you wanted to go this far, you have to wait that long. Whereas with the Phoenix Blaster, it's just bam, bam, bam. So it kind of makes Magic suck. Because that's the most powerful spell on a damage basis. And it doesn't even stand up to a gun. Oh, technology. Oh, technology. Then we have the Flower of Fire. I consider it a top-tier weapon, only because it still does over 30 damage a shot. And it uses such low mana. And it makes fireballs similar to Super Mario Brothers, though the physics are a lot different. They kind of bounce like basketballs. But you could definitely fire a lot of these. I don't even have any bands of regeneration on. This is just jungle armor. And you can see that my mana isn't terribly draining fast. It can certainly be difficult to hit accurately with this. But if you're fighting in a confined area, you can just fill the whole area with fireballs and hope they all hit. It's certainly not a bad weapon, but it really needs some help if magic weapons want to be seriously considered. Because if you'll notice, those are the only two magic weapons on me. And because all the other ones, just their damage ratings are so low that, like, you know, the Phoenix Blaster, or the Sun Fury, or the Flamerang, or the Bow, or the Muramasa, just totally outclass them. Now, there's also the ubiquitous Star Cannon, which, obviously, you can hold your button down and just bam, 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 bam. And each one of those stars does 75 damage. Yes, you heard me correct. 75 damage. Will penetrate all enemies forever. And, but you're literally shooting your falling stars. And so, yeah, the ammo is certainly not the easiest to come by. However, the Star Cannon is ridiculous, heinously overpowered, oftentimes looked down upon when using it on bosses, or obviously in PvP. But since it is a high-end weapon and it is ridiculous, I figured I should kind of show it to you. And then, as far as some of the other weapons go, there's a Staff of Regrowth, which acts very similarly to the Muramasa. It's only 2 less damage, but it has the same swing speed. Not quite the reach, but close. I would consider it as close to elite as you can get without being elite. You got your lightsabers, your Blade of Grass, which is actually quite good too. It's got actually, I'm going to show you the Blade of Grass. It's got a slightly longer reach than the Fiery Greatsword, just a tiny bit. But it does do 7 less damage and is, like the Fiery Greatsword, inferior to the awesome power of the Muramasa. Got a Thorn Chakram, which is a solid boomerang before you get the Flamerang. It bounces around, which can be very useful in confined spaces. Your Space Gun, which is pretty decent considering it costs no mana if you're using Meteor Armor. But once you get armor that offers better protection than Meteor Armor, why would you want to use anything else? Defense is good. You know, I don't know. It's just my opinion. As far as other equipment, Shiny Red Balloon, in my opinion, is just something everyone should use. Jumping higher is great. Rocket Boots are something everyone should use, if not for just usefulness, but they're fucking rocket boots. And also, the Shiny Red Balloon makes rocket boots go faster. So that's nice. Cobalt Shield, many people feel it's the absolute best item in the game. Gives you 2 defense, and you don't get knocked back when you get hit, which is amazing. It's one of those things where, oh, this is alright, but yeah, use it for a while, and then unequip it and tell me how you feel. Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, Haberdashery, I was wrong, and you were so right, the Cobalt Shield is the best yeah. So anyways. I have Anklets of the Wind right now because I felt like moving faster. But honestly, I don't want anyone to underestimate these bands of regeneration. Because even, like, equipping a pair of them really look how fast my health's going up. That doesn't look very fast, but it'll save a lot of potions. It really will. Then if you can actually, like, I don't recommend equipping 3 of them because then you're doing without one of these 3 items. But yeah, the bands of regeneration are pretty cool. Bands of Star Power too if you feel like you need more mana, though if you're wearing jungle armor, I don't understand why you would need more mana, but whatever. Feral Claws are cool, especially with the Muramasa, it's a buzzsaw. anyways, we're about done with this video. I might come back with another video kind of discussing the different armor choices. Anyways, this is Haberdashery signing off. Please do not die.